Hello again, ladies and gentlemen. Can we talk about Kill Bill, Volume 1?
Merry Christmas. I'm sorry, wrong episode.
It is 10 a.m. Christmas Day. We are recording this. We are the Can We Talk About podcast. We are here not talking about Christmas stuff. That was last week. That was last week's thing.
It's because Die Hard is a Christmas movie, obviously.
And we are going to be talking about probably one of the movies that we have referenced almost as much as Grease. Maybe more at this point since we got greased out talking about Grease. So now we're going to do the same here. We got two Greasies, so here we are talking about Kill Bill Volume 1. It is our first foray into the 2000s.
No, it isn't.
It isn't?
Nope, Cutie Honey.
Oh, shit. Damn it. Our second foray into the 2000s. Probably as modern as we're going to get here on the Can We Talk About podcast, as it happens. We're going to be doing this in parts, of course, because we're already long-winded enough when it comes to movies, so it is Kill Bill Volume 1.
We're not putting out a 4-hour-long podcast episode. It's Christmas, come on.
I know I'm excited, Kristen. I am not bald. I shave my head. Do you understand? My name's Joe.
I'm a silly Caucasian girl who likes to play with samurai swords. I'm Kristen.
And we're watching Kill Bill Volume 1 via the wonderful world of Amazon Video, and you watched it on Hulu, did you not, Kristen?
Yes, I did. I'm currently doing a free trial on Hulu because I really want to watch all of Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
And how's that going for you?
I think I am starting to talk like Chelsea Peretti.
Oh, neat. So we're going to start off, Kristen. Usually we start off with the actor, but I feel like the director is not necessarily more important than Uma Thurman, but we kind of got to start with the framing for this movie, because Quentin Tarantino, our director here, has some very unique directorial style.
Yeah, if rumors are to be believed anyway, Quentin Tarantino and Uma Thurman came up with the idea for Kill Bill on the set of Pulp Fiction.
I wouldn't be surprised. It does say in the credits, based on the story of The Bride by Q&U, as in Quentin and Uma, I'm assuming.
Yep, and there's that whole story that Uma Thurman's character tells in Pulp Fiction about all of the assassin women.
Oh yeah, It's not the Deadly Viper Assassination Squad, though, is it?
No, it's not.
It's something close to that.
Specifically name them that. It's something like that, and also Michael Madsen isn't a girl.
So Quentin Tarantino, he is a famed director. He hasn't done too many movies, with The Hateful Eight being advertised as his 8th movie. I mean, he counts Kill Bill as one movie, even though it's in 2 parts.
And we don't count it as one movie here.
No, that's true, yeah. It's 2 halves of a whole.
2 halves of a whole.
But basically, all of his movies range from good to great, so he's quite well-liked. He's, it's also a bit controversial, because his movies are a bit profane. They do tend to skew a little on using the N-word a lot sometimes, which...
It depends on the movie.
It depends, period, I guess.
I really like Django Unchained.
I did too. I like The Hateful Eight a lot too.
I haven't seen it still.
He draws great inspiration from films of the past. This film in particular, Kristen, we got a lot of elements going on here. We got exploitation revenge movies. Mm-hmm. We got the wuxia films of Chinese cinema.
Yeah.
Samurai movies.
Yep.
Spaghetti western elements.
Let me tell you, this is the first time I have watched this movie since I took my Japanese cinema class, and all of a sudden I was like, oh! Like, I understood it before, and I knew that was, like, a part of the inspiration and everything, but I really got it now. I think part of it was the soundtrack.
His movies are an amalgam, Kristen. Even anachronistic at sometimes, like the part in Inglourious Basterds where there's the David Bowie playing song, and it's the 1940s.
I don't remember that. I've only seen Inglourious Basterds once.
Well, it's on Netflix, so...
That's where I watched it.
At least it was last time I watched it, which was like 2 months ago,
yeah.
So...
Now we know everything is uncertain in the world when it comes to Netflix. Because Kill Bill used to be on Netflix also.
Yes, and now it's not. So, basically what it boils down to is I like Quentin Tarantino a lot. This is a good movie, and his directography is expansive. This isn't my favorite Quentin Tarantino movie, but I'd definitely say it's up there. It's worth taking a look at.
This is one of my favorite movies ever.
There we go.
If there's anything I've learned from being 6 years late and now suddenly playing the Mass Effect games, it's that I really like watching women do cool action hero stuff. Like the same things that if I saw a beefy man do it, I would be like, ugh, whatever. But it's like cool revenge story. So, I really don't want to go off on too many tangents here, especially regarding David Cage. But there are very few times in any media where the story of women primary motivation baby that I'm cool with.
But this is a good... I mean, I was thinking about that.
And this
I was
works.
thinking about that. I was like, yeah, this will, because she has the moment in the movie where she's like, my baby, but that it quickly goes away after that.
Mm-hmm. It's like, it's still in the back of her mind. That's kind of the whole thing. Also being shot in the head.
And then it's just, instead of just being like, who's gonna help me get my baby? It's like, I'm gonna get a sword, and I'm gonna cut some fucking people's heads off.
Have I, like... Can I very quickly cite some examples from David Cage works, which are why he makes me so angry?
Chris, I know I usually try to... I mean, I've heard it before, so I try to stop you, but I think the audience deserves to know why you hate David Cage so much.
Okay, so I can give a per-game example.
Please.
In Indigo Prophecy, the main character, spoilers for a very old game, ends up dying near the end of the game, and then comes back to life as a zombie because I think the internet resurrects him or something. It's very unclear. And one of the other main characters, who is a policewoman who is trying to catch him for a murder, very quickly falls in love with him, they bone, and then at the end of the game, no matter what ending you get, she is pregnant with his zombie baby.
Oh, God.
So it's like, you didn't need to do that, David Cage. Why'd you do that? So I'm gonna just give one more example and then stop.
Okay.
I don't need to go into Beyond Two Souls, because then I would never ever shut up. And then in Heavy Rain, one of the endings, if you let your other dumb son with a French accent die, but you also bone one of the other characters who, again, likes this crazy person for no reason.
Is this the one where they're boning at the gravesite?
No, they are at the grave of both of his sons, and she is, like, rubbing up on him, saying, "It's okay, we can have a new baby to replace the dead ones." And then she leaves, and that's so terrible that Ethan, the main character, takes out a gun and shoots himself in front of his son's graves.
God.
So yeah, David Cage is bad at writing women. This is an example of good writing women, in my opinion.
And let's start off with our star, Kristen, who is Uma Thurman as the bride. She is the one looking to kill Bill here. And obviously, Uma Thurman's super cool. Cool as shit. But other than this in Pulp Fiction, I feel like her filmography isn't amazing.
What, you didn't like My Super Ex-Girlfriend?
That was one thing I cited as a specific example. She was Poison Ivy in Batman and Robin, which is hilarious. So
Yes, it is.
There we go here. She was, yes, Mia Wallace in Pulp Fiction. And then, according to my notes, and a bunch of other stuff like My Super Ex-Girlfriend.
Great. I'm glad that my memory of Uma Thurman isn't very tainted, because I'm just like, yeah, Pulp Fiction, Kill Bill. Good.
You know, Kristen, Wikipedia told me that Uma Thurman was married to Gary Oldman for a good amount of time. So that must have been fun.
Cool. I really am not super familiar with anything Gary Oldman has done except Harry Potter.
He was Commissioner Gordon in the Dark Knight movies.
Oh, of course, that famous role.
And he was in Leon the Professional, where he screamed really loudly at somebody.
Okay.
Other stars of this movie include David Carradine, whom we know as Frankenstein, Michael Madsen, whom we know as working
that other guy.
Doing anything for a paycheck. Lucy Liu, whom we know as
the most beautiful person to have ever lived.
Living in Bender's chest cavity in Futurama.
That, yes.
Vivica A. Fox, whom we don't know. Even after looking at her Wikipedia page, I was like, what else has she done?
She's apparently been in a shitload of stuff, just like not anything we've watched.
And Daryl Hannah, whom we know as, I don't remember the name of her character in Blade Runner.
Priss.
Thank you. She does the flips and tries to suffocate.
So many flips.
And break Harrison Ford's neck with her thighs.
Like we all dream.
We're bringing together a lot of stuff from the past movies of the Can We Talk About annals here, and we'll cross those bridges once we come to them. I think, Kristen, we have gone on long enough. It is time to get Bill killin'. We're going to get some sweet killing of that billin' here. Top billing of the killing. I don't know what song we're going to play here, so we're going to play a song.
I do. We're going to play My Baby Shot Me Down by Nancy Sinatra.
I was 5 and he was 6. We rode on horses made of sticks. He wore black and I wore white. He would always win the fight. Bang, bang, he shot me down. Bang, bang, I hit the ground. Bang, bang, that awful sound. Bang, bang, my baby shot me down. Seasons came and changed the time. When I grew up I called him mine. He would always laugh and say, remember when we used to play? Bang, bang, I shot you down. Bang, bang, you hit the ground. Bang, bang, that awful sound. Bang, bang, I used to shoot you down.
So we start off, Kristen, it is the logo from Miramax, which quickly goes away because Quentin Tarantino doesn't want that shit. He wants people to see the Filmed in Shaw Scope, which is a card used for the films of the Shaw Brothers studio, who do a lot of Chinese cinema, which, again, draws a lot of inspiration from. This movie does. And then we've got our feature presentation clip that I'm pretty sure was also used in Grindhouse before, or even just before Death Proof. I'm not sure. It's just, that thing with the cool 70s music in the background.
Joe, can I just say how happy I am for you that you can relevantly discuss logos in this movie?
Because Quentin Tarantino is really good at just being like, look at this cool, let me put in this cool thing.
This doesn't actually mean anything, but here you go.
This is for me only.
Yep, this is because I want to do it.
And we start with, revenge is a dish best served cold, which is an old Klingon proverb, apparently.
In a font that is either or looks remarkably like Century Gothic. And the only I keep noticing in different movies, they used either, again, a font that looks a lot like a sans serif font that looks a lot like or is Century Gothic, also in the Hunger Games credits.
Huh.
It's my favorite font. Because I'm a boring person that has a thing like a favorite font.
There's the sound of heavy breathing as the credits start up here. We see the bride. She is in a damn state, Kristen. She is all bloodied up. Everything's in black and white, laying on the floor. I'm sure we can infer that she is in a wedding dress here. A man walks up to approach her. This is Bill Frankenstein himself. We don't see David Carradine. We see his face. We don't even see it. We see his face, like, blurred out, kinda, or, like, out of focus, I should say. But we don't see him, really.
Yeah, no head in this movie, but he very clearly has the Torgo voice.
This is me at my most masochistic.
I bet I can fry an egg on your head. We're not going to do that this whole movie.
Just you wait for volume 2. We might.
He's definitely not doing the Frankenstein voice in this movie.
So we see that this is Bill because he has a handkerchief which comes down and it says Bill, and he's wiping some of the blood off of her cheek. He's pretty calm about all this, and the bride is not terribly happy, I would say.
I would say so too. Where do you think the rest of the Deadly Viper assassination squad is while this is happening? Do they go out to get some steak and shake?
I find it odd that when the bride remembers all 4 of them, there's that awkward shot. All I could think of when I was seeing it of just, all 4 of the Vipers looking down at the bride, and it holds on them for so long that it's just like Quentin Tarantino's down on the floor, pointing the camera up at them, and it's just like, oh, keep staring. Keep staring.
Oh my god, this is awesome. Keep staring.
Keep staring. It's just such an awkward shot, and also they end up with individual shots later, because I know Lucy Liu gets one where she's not standing next to Michael Madsen. Mm-hmm.
I think there's also an individual of Vivica Fox.
I think so too, yeah. Bill muses, yes, that he could fry an egg on her forehead, because she's so angry. She's so angry that even Sam Jackson, the piano player, was shot.
Very not nice. She's like, the priest and his horrible wife, that's fine.
Sam Jackson at the piano, no,
How
sir.
dare you?
Bill asks if she thinks that his actions are sadistic. Nope, not towards her, not you. Everybody, yeah, fuck him, fuck everybody else. No, not towards you. This is me at my most masochistic.
That's how he says it. And she lets him know that she is pregnant with his baby, and then her head explodes.
Gunshot. Kill Bill, Volume 1. Bang, bang. Babe shot me down.
Kind of insanely good use of that song.
Yep. Very apt, I would say.
Uh-huh.
The Deadly Vipers are listed in the credits according to the numbers on the bride's list, so we get number 1, Oreni Shi, Lucy Liu. Number 2, Vernita Green, Vivica Fox. 3 is Bud, I think, right? Yeah, who is Michael Madsen. 4 is Elle Driver, who is Daryl Hannah, and 5 is Bill, who's...
I remember because when we see her college rule notebook list later, after Bud, Elle and Bill's name get progressively larger. She just fucking hates Elle so much.
So yes, this is the credits at this point. I noted that Sonny Chiba got a big-ass credit for his name, which he should, because he's a cool dude.
I referred to him as being way too famous in Japan for this movie.
And the credits are pretty simple. It's just the song with, white on black. So we fade in at this point. The bride is in silhouette, laid down as the credits and the song wrap up. And then we go straight to Chapter 1. 2.
Circled.
Pasadena, California is where we start. The bride arrives in her big-ass yellow pickup truck, and more on that later.
Yep. It is kind of really interesting how on a first watch through with a clean slate, this could be very confusing, but like we tell very quickly that this is in fact in the future, even though we just saw the main character, Uma Thurman, get shot in the head.
This is another sort of staple of Quentin Tarantino as well, is the out-of-order things. So, again, yeah, pretty good start here. So,
isn't it just this in Pulp Fiction?
No, it's... I mean, you could say with the way that Reservoir Dogs goes, it's a lot of the stuff that happens after the heist, and then there's flashbacks of most of the characters, most of the major characters, as well as, you know, what they were doing during the heist, just it starts after the heist.
That's true. It's been a very long time since I've seen Reservoir Dogs.
And I think Django and the Hateful Eight are pretty much straightforward, but that's a normal... Like, earlier Quentin Tarantino, there's a lot of this. A lot of out-of-order stuff.
This is weird, because after this, most of the movie is kind of in order.
Yeah, well, it goes basically... Yeah, 3-1-2 is sort of the number of scenes, the way that it works. I would say the progression of how things go.
Yeah.
But I think it's better to start here because, well, one... We see Vernita Green gets her shit kicked in pretty quickly, and Oren's just more cool, I guess?
Yeah, I think once you watch the entire movie, you're like, oh, no wonder the thing with Vernita went so fast. The bride has been through quite a lot already.
So Vivica A. Fox opens the door, she is Vernita Green, and is pretty shocked to see the bride, and then we get the and it... One of my favorite things where it's just, you know, everything goes red and the bride's eyes are at 50% opacity as we see Vivica A. Fox kicking the shit out of the bride during the wedding.
Again, we get very clear, oh yeah, that's a thing that happened in the past and that's why she's coming to get her.
And immediately Vernita is punched in the face. They start their fight. 2 glass tables get shattered immediately, Kristen.
Yep. Lots of breaking just a ton of glass. Partway through, we get the first of many, many pained Uma Thurman grunts in this movie.
It's pretty common. There's
I wonder
a lot...
if she hurt her throat going, ah!
The bride gets Vernita in a headlock as well, which it looks like she's starting to put her down, and then Vernita grabs a fireplace poker, and Uma Thurman gets that upside the head.
Mm-hmm.
The fight spills into the kitchen, where we get knife versus frying pan, quickly followed by knife versus knife.
I was going to say, I wonder why, if the bride had a knife in the first place, she didn't take it out when Vernita got the knife, but it is a pretty quick fight happening.
Yeah. The bride is also holding the knife backwards ways, which is, I'm pretty sure, a more proper knife fighting stance than Vernita's normal stabby motion, because it's you want to slash with the knife, Kristen, not stab.
Thank you for the education. I will remember that when I take on my enemies.
Kristen, please remember the basics of CQC.
I got it, boss. Why are you the boss and I'm snaking this?
Why does this always happen?
I don't know.
So they're kind of staring each other down, and we see through the window to outside that a school bus is pulling up and there is a child heading towards the house, and they kind of look at each other like, oh fuck.
Yeah, Vernita is making a sentence with her eyes that says, that's my daughter, and as the front door opens, the bride and Vernita just put their knives behind their backs.
Yep, even though they ignore the fact that they're completely bloodied and there's glass all over the floor, and the little girl, Nikki, is just kind of like, what happened here? And Vernita's just like, well, that dog of yours came out and started acting a damn fool.
And even the kid is like, that seems wrong, Mom.
Vernita introduces the bride to Nikki. The bride says her name, but it is bleeped. And I don't know, I mean, is that... I like that it happened, but why is the bride's name bleeped?
Because when you are a mad woman on a mission for revenge, does it really matter what her name is?
You know, you're right. It adds a bit more mystique to her. And her name is said two or three times, three-ish times, doesn't matter throughout the movie, but it's bleeped every time.
It's twice in this scene, and then Lucy Liu says it later, and I think that's it.
Yeah. Vernita says that this little girl is 4, and Kristen, this girl does not look like she's 4. Do you even go to school when you're 4? I don't remember.
Once you're 4, you go to preschool. I work with children. She looks like she could be 5 or 6, but as I have learned working with children, gosh, they come in all sizes. There are ones that are nearly as tall as me, because I'm not a tall person, and then there are ones that still look like they're 2.
I had a little girl once. She'd be about 4 now, too. Ooh. Whoa.
That's a depressing thing to tell a child.
Intrigue.
Then again, she probably wouldn't understand.
Yeah. Vernita tells Nikki to go to her room. The adults have stuff to talk about here. They got a knife fight. Please, excuse me.
Little kid, you don't want to see this, trust me. So they kind of, since they have spoken a little bit, they just both kind of sigh. And Vernita's like, want some coffee?
So, yep. Go ahead and make some coffee, head over to the kitchen, and we get in narration that Vernita is going by Jeannie Bell now, and she was Copperhead of the Deadly Viper Assassination Squad.
And the bride was Black Mamba.
To which, in a little bit here, we get Vernita commenting, I should have been Black Mamba.
I don't know, I think Copperhead's a pretty cool code name.
The bride and Vernita get talking. It's a little too late for an apology, and Vernita understands at least. She's like, alright, I get it. No, it's okay. But the bride's like, well, I'm not that cold-blooded. I'm gonna murder you, but it's not gonna be in front of your daughter, please.
Yeah, come on. And Vernita just like, that's more rational than Bill led me to believe you were.
And the bride says she lacks mercy, compassion, forgiveness, but she is rational, thankfully. Still gonna murder, but she's rational.
At some point she does say, you and I have unfinished business, which might as well be the catchphrase of the movie.
Pops up at least twice with both people. I gotta keep a lookout, because you just told me now, off podcast here, basically, that I hadn't realized that it shows up twice. Mostly because the other time she says it's in Japanese.
Yes, the subtitles are nice and huge.
Vernita says that the bride has every right to get even here with the unfinished business, and the bride's like, no. Getting even would be killing you. It'd be killing the girl. It'd be waiting for your husband to come home and braining him. But nope, it's just gonna be you and me. That's even Steven, and I'm only looking to get normal even, thank you.
The bride does trace a square in the air with her fingers, and because of Pulp Fiction, I thought that there was actually
Gonna be a square there.
Yeah, because I forgot what movie that happens in. It's Uma Thurman both times, but no square in this one.
When you said it, because yeah, she says that would be square, and she makes the square with her fingers, I thought, like, me remembering the scene was the square showing up on screen, like in Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, the dotted line. But nope, just a callback.
I'm a different person now.
I don't care.
And Vernita basically tries to use her daughter to appeal to the bride, but that ain't happening. The bride ain't that sympathetic. I mean, I understand what Vernita's trying to do here, but kind of dug her own grave on this one, being an assassin and everything.
Yeah, because the bride also tried to get away from being an assassin before, and that didn't work great.
And look what happened.
Look what happened. So, again, every kind of appeal that happens in this movie is kind of like, if you really wanted to be sorry,
should have been an assassin.
Maybe you shouldn't have been an assassin, and maybe you should have actually killed the bride. To be fair, I'm positive they thought that she was dead.
Well, Kristen, there's a little movie called Zombieland, maybe? Where they give you the rules of fighting the zombies, and one of the very first one, it's the double tap, Kristen. Even if you think something's dead, shoot it in the head again, just to make sure.
I've been listening to the podcast My Favorite Murder lately, and one of the things that they mentioned, it is nuts how many people can actually survive being shot in the head. So you have someone that means business when they shoot someone in the head twice, because that is much harder to survive.
So the bride and Vernita set a date for a knife fight on a stone bridge. Come and meet me at the baseball Come and meet me at the baseball diamond at 2:30 a.m. if you want an ass kicking.
Yeah, that's basically it. Dress in all black, have a knife fight.
And Vernita says, but now it's time to get some cereal. And she pulls out some Kaboom cereal, which is something that was discontinued in the 1970s. Kristen, Quentin Tarantino really loves him some cereal.
Cereal and feet, the two things that Quentin Tarantino just cannot get enough of.
If Quentin Tarantino could eat cereal off of a foot, Jesus Christ.
Holy shit. I want to stop thinking about that.
Quentin Tarantino in a movie From Dusk Till Dawn, he drinks alcohol off of Selma Hayek's foot. Oh, God.
Stop!
The bride comments that Bill always said that Vernita was one of the best with an edged weapon that he had ever seen, and Vernita's just like, he's probably, I don't think he ever quantified that shit.
Yep. Also says, fuck you, bitch.
Yes, she does.
Vernita is very no-nonsense.
The bride comments that Vernita can bring the kitchen knife if you want. You could bring the butcher knife, and she's like, very funny, bitch. Very funny! Gun in the cereal!
Weird place to hide a gun, unless her other family members knew about it, who knows. Unfortunately, Vernita kind of blows her only chance to get the element of surprise off.
She is shooting through a box of cereal, which probably not gonna do the best for her aim. I don't know what she was she misses, and the bride, gets shocked. She's like, whoa, fuck, but she realizes that she was not shot, basically instantly, and then kicks the mug of coffee that she has at Vernita Green, and then does a Jack Burton-style knife throw into her chest.
Yup. We never see too many instances of actual gunplay in either of these two movies.
Well, we see this here, and Bud shoots the bride full of rock salt or something.
I wouldn't call that gunplay. I would call that sneaking up on someone and shooting them with a shotgun. But there is the flashback in the second movie when the bride finds out that she's pregnant. And the lady with the shotgun says that she is a surgeon with her shotgun. And the bride says that she is better than Annie Oakley. And that's the only other guns I remember.
So R.I.P. Serial.
Also, the knife in the chest and somewhat instant death I just had is now a bad time to bring up my suspension of disbelief problems when it comes to certain things killing people instantly in movies.
Well, Kristen, you gotta remember, this is it takes inspiration from the great movies of the past where that's all you needed was... Like, I can understand Lopan getting the knife in the head and being like, oh, I'm old! But yeah, Vernita Green getting a knife just kind of like right, but not even like...
Between the boob. I mean, it was a decently sized knife and it had to have been thrown pretty free and hard to go up to the hilt through her breastbone.
Yeah, but
so,
that killed her instantly.
Maybe it was like enough trauma that she was like, her body was just like, oh, we're not coming back from this.
Should have double tapped her, because you never know, she could have just been in shock.
Well, if we're going to talk about sequel bait.
Well, because here comes Nikki kind of standing there as the bride gets her knife, and the bride's like, ooh... Wasn't my intention to do this, but hey, if you, in a few years, if you're still feeling hot about it, come find me. I'll be waiting.
And I'm still waiting for Kill Bill 3. Bill is dead.
Long live Bill.
The savior has returned.
We get a man speaking about cold-blooded revenge. I believe this is Hattori Hanzo. He's speaking in Japanese, and the subtitles reflect that. Not the fact that he's speaking in Japanese, but you can...
They translate it.
They have Japanese subtitles on the screen.
Mm-hmm. But, our ears tell us that he is speaking Japanese.
Yes, and the bride heads back out to the truck where she crosses Vernita's name out on her notebook. Is this quick enough, Kristen, where you see Oren's name has already been crossed out, which, not necessarily that I don't think, obviously because if there's two movies, the bride's not going to die at the end here, so...
Well, I guess it's one of those things. The odds against Oren seem, like, insurmountable, so to know at this point that she is already dead... It's like, how does this even work? She is very tired from all those sword fights.
And we get the first look at the design of the pussy wagon.
I love the pussy wagon.
Chapter 2, The Blood-Spattered Bride.
Well, is the first note that I have, because that's the song that plays.
4 years earlier, we are in El Paso, Texas, and we see a sheriff headed for a small chapel, many different types of aviators on his dashboard. And this is, I can't remember, Earl McGraw? Maybe? Something like that. I think that sounds right. At least 3 separate movies that Quentin Tarantino has a hand in, because he is also in Death Proof, and he shows up a little bit in Planet Terror as well, I believe.
He gets all over.
Yep, him and his son here. Give me the gory details, son number 1, which is what he refers to as his son.
If I ever had children, which I'm probably not going to, I would just assign them numbers too. I think that would be really good for their development.
So the whole wedding party was killed, execution style. They even shot the guy who plays the organ. What a shame.
And we don't even know that it's Sam Jackson yet.
Sounds like someone objected to this union, but wasn't able to hold their peace.
Yeah!
I did write in brackets CSI theme blaring.
It's appropriate.
There are bullet casings all over the floor. The sheriff guesstimates that this was a Mexican mafia hit squad.
They said it has to be the work of professionals. It might have been a big bloody murder, but all the colors were kept inside the lines.
Yep, it's almost admirable if you're a moron.
And he's not.
Well, here's where the admiration happens, because the sheriff and son start admiring the bride at this point. Is she referred to at one point as a tall drink of water?
Nope, who is that? That happens with someone else.
Someone gets referred to as a tall drink of water?
Yes. Hang on, what the fuck am I thinking of?
That might be, Buck and the trucker man later.
No, shit! That just happened in Twin Peaks!
Oh. Well, tall drink of water. Where does that expression even come from? Doesn't matter.
I don't know, but yeah, I was trying to figure out where I heard that before. The judge that comes in for Leland Palmer's trial calls Lucy a tall drink of water to road-weary eyes. Weird!
Apparently, the bride was using the name Arlene Machiavelli, which is totally fake. They were just calling her the bride because of the dress.
On account of the dress.
And she is clearly pregnant here. Here it is, little blood-spattered angel, and the bride spits at this in response. It seems that she was not dead after all.
Mm-hmm. And the sheriff calls her a cocksucker. Oh my god, he calls her a tall glass of cocksucker.
Oh, there we go.
That's it. Sorry, we usually don't use language like that on this podcast, but I'm quoting the movie.
We fade to a hospital room where we see the bride enter Elle Driver and her eye patch whistling a song by one Bernard Herrmann. It is the theme from Twisted Nerve. Also, for some reason, Kristen, is she wearing like a pea coat with a belt drawn onto it?
It is a trench coat,
Trench coat, excuse me.
And yeah, it has details that make it look 2D, basically. I've seen some clothing like that. I think they're kind of ugly.
Yeah, it looks kind of gross.
Yeah, but I'm whatever, movie. She doesn't wear it for very long, so...
No, because she changes into her nurse outfit.
Yep.
It transitions into the actual theme from Twisted Nerve, and we see Elle, yes, changing into her nurse outfit as, in a split screen with the bride, who is just still in her coma here. And
comfy in a coma.
She's filling her syringe, and she walks out, and she also has her eye patch, has a red cross on it. Elle Driver has an eye patch, if you don't know.
Yeah, one of the things that I saw is when she walks in, she just has her normal white eye patch on. Or, I say her normal white eye patch, like she doesn't wear a black one in the next volume. But, as she came out with the red cross on it, I was like, did she bring a new eye patch? Or just like a sticker with a red cross on it.
Elle looks in on the bride from outside, and we get her nameplate, as well as her codename, California Mountain Snake.
Little bit of a mouthful.
I feel like, isn't it a thing where the deadly vipers actually aren't poisonous other than the black mambas? Am I remembering that wrong?
That sounds wrong because I'm pretty sure a cottonmouth is poisonous.
Yeah, okay. Alright, never mind then. I thought there was something where maybe black mamba was the most deadly, and that's the thing.
Well, it definitely is.
Okay. There we go, then.
Elle reads us our fun facts about the Black Mamba in the next one.
Yes, of course. So
Elle the Wikipedia page of facts about the Black Mamba.
Elle tells the unconscious bride that she never liked her. In fact, she despised her, but she does deserve respect, and that respect is going to come in the form of letting the bride die in her sleep.
Knowing what we know about Elle as people who have watched both of these movies a lot, this is kind of nice.
And Elle's phone rings just as she's about to kill the bride, and it is Bill. He's like, so how's she doing? How's she doing there? She's sleeping? She's still sleeping? And I was like, yeah, about to kill her.
Elle uses her flirt voice for most of this conversation, talking about how the bride's in a coma.
Can I kill her, please? And nope, time to abort the mission. That's when Elle turns into Pizzazz and starts screaming like the devil.
Elle really does remind me of Pizzazz in some ways.
Bill wants to give the bride a chance after so much they did to her, because God knows they did a shitload to her.
Yeah, at this point I also was like, man, second Daryl Hannah and David Carradine movie for us.
Not to mention, killing her in her sleep would just lower their good name, their good Deadly Viper Assassination Squad name.
Are we the Deadly Viper Assassination Squad, or are we the Kill People in Their Sleep Squad?
And Bill's like, don't you agree? And Elle goes, I guess.
Do you have to guess?
No, yeah, alright. And then Bill says he loves Elle very much. He's a dear friend of hers.
Do you want to be my navigator?
And Elle advises the bride, you better never wake up!
Shithead.
4 years later, we have a mosquito flying around in the coma ward here, where do they keep the lights low in the coma ward, Kristen? Because it's awfully dark in here. It is the middle of the night, so maybe...
I guess so. I feel like, and I don't know this for a fact, like super 24/7 exposure to fluorescent lights are probably not great for you.
You're probably right, yeah. We don't want to kill...
Probably just slowly gives you radiation poisoning.
We don't want to kill the people in the coma. That wouldn't be good.
I mean, have sex with them, absolutely. Kill them? Nah. But anyway.
A mosquito lands on... That might need some context. Thankfully, that scene is now.
Yep, really quick, though, as this part happened, yes, there's a mosquito when it lands on the bride and, starts drinking her blood, and it's very close up and has a lot of fly noises. I did write in my notes, okay, now this is the mosquito shit. I said, no thanks, I'll just stare at my Google Drive window, and I said, actually, the bride starts screaming after this. That sucks, too, so I'm gonna go get some hot wing dip. So I got up while the movie was going, and as I came back with my hot wing dip, the screaming was still happening.
Yeah, she does a lot of screaming stuff. She remembers, she suddenly wakes up and slow motion remembrance of the gunshot to the head as we see the chamber and the bullet and all that shit, even though I'm pretty sure this was done incorrectly to where it's not actually how the firing of a gun works, but whatever, doesn't matter.
I don't know the difference.
Yeah, she checks her head because of the bullet wound, and then her stomach, and then realizes she don't got no baby no more.
Oh god, I'm missing quite a lot of mass.
She looks at her palms. Is she able to, read her own palms here? Because she says, 4 years!
Yeah, I guess the lines on your hands evolve slowly. I don't know where she picked up this cool trick, but you know what? It's a little bit cooler than her just kind of, looking at her, side table or something and being like, oh, there's a newspaper here.
Looking at her Apple Watch and being like, what year is it?
Holy shit! Her Apple Watch would have died by then, Joe. Like, my Nintendo 3DS keeps resetting and telling me that it's 2010.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Because I keep letting the battery die.
The bride lays back down as she hears someone approach. A male nurse comes in with a trucker man. The male nurse is Buck. Kristen, he likes to party.
Indeed he does.
Or he's here to party. We often, it's, my name's Buck and I like to party, but it should be I'm here to party, I guess.
I guess so. Worth noting, when we talk about this later, when I was in, 6th grade, this was my favorite joke in the entire universe. This censored version of Kill Bill.
So he brings in the trucker man here, and immediately, just no bullshit, $75. Fuck a corpse. Not a corpse, no.
A comatose person. Completely different.
Comatose person. I don't want to make a joke and say that's a bargain, but I just did, because woo!
Yeah, when I was watching, I did think to myself, that's not that much money.
Here are the rules. No punching. Also, Buck says that the bride has a motor reflex of spitting, which means that this has happened God knows how many times before, that he knows this offhand.
He also says, I don't care if she spits on you, don't punch her.
2, don't leave marks of any kind. No kissy hickeys, no
punches.
No punches. Try not to make a mess. He'll be back in 20.
He goes out into the hallway, comes back and says, oh, by the way, here's some Vaseline, and it's the grossest can of Vaseline I've ever seen in my life.
Probably because Vaseline didn't want to put their name on it. It's something like, it says Vaseline something, I just refer to it as petroleum jelly.
Yeah, that's basically it, but whoever made that prop must be so proud.
Because, yeah, it's all kind of it's really gross looking.
Yes.
In order to drive the point home of this terrible Texas hospital.
Yeah, as if we didn't already know that everything is gross.
So the dude gets up on the bride here, and I don't know if he's starting to do some role play or something. He's like, oh, you're the best girl I've had all day. And then she bites his lip.
And boy, does it stretch.
Boy, does it stretch. And she just rips it off. And we hear him screaming. We are afforded the pleasure of not seeing his lip ripped off. Just the fact that he's all bloody after this. And
the bride is also very bloody around her mouth.
Yes, and she tries to get up from the bed, but her legs have atrophied just a bit because she cannot walk. Legs don't work no more.
I feel like I remember hearing somewhere that atrophy is actually not the correct word.
Entropy?
For what happened to her. Or is entropy what she says later?
She says entropy later, but
atrophy, yes, is the actual thing that happened. She is wrong later.
Okay. They might both be correct. I'm not certain. Entropy, because entropy refers to, it's like something slowly dying. Her muscles are I don't know, fuck it. Kristen,
entropy is also the name of a villain in one of the Crash Bandicoot games. Was it Crash Team Racing?
It was, no, Crash 3 was the time guy.
Oh, right, and Crash Team Racing, it's Engine.
No, it's, Engine is the guy with the missile in his head.
Oh, no.
Nitrous Oxide is the guy from Crash Team Racing.
Man, Naughty Dog. So preoccupied with Uncharted, they don't know what they could be doing.
So, Kristen, I want to mention real quick.
Yep.
So, the legs not working after being in a coma a long time or whatever. I like that. I like that touch. One thing I want to mention, because I might have been spoiled by this movie, I want to talk about Sword Art Online real quick. Just real quick. I want to complain about Sword Art Online.
Okay, if you're going to complain about it.
So, you get caught in the video game and wearing the virtual reality headset and you're not moving your body for a long time. And At the end, he gets out of the game of the first season or whatever, and he's in a hospital and he just gets right up and starts walking out from somewhere. And I'm really, Kristen, I cannot tell you how much that pissed me off because
of Kill Bill?
Because of Kill Bill, yes. Because he should have fallen on his face and died. I fucking hate Sword Art Online.
I've heard everyone does. I also have a question.
Please.
If she got, muscle sleep in her legs, why not also her arms?
I don't know.
I don't understand how this works.
I mean, we see that, I think a lot of it, she could probably move her legs, it's just that she's putting a lot of weight on them and they can't handle it. We see later, when she tries to pull herself into the pussy wagon, she has a really tough time because the muscles in her arms aren't that good either.
Yeah, I guess I just assumed that would be part of it, and the other part is, when your legs aren't working and all you have are your arms, that is quite a lot of weight to pull.
Yes, that too. So that's the thing. It probably, well, even then, I'm sure you could slip into the back of a truck if you just tried to not use your legs by using your arms.
Let's test this. After all, I am in...
Mythbusters.
I'm in assassin shape. Yeah, Mythbusters got it wrong. They should have tested this one.
So she gets her hands on the trucker's knife and pulls herself across the floor as Buck arrives and gets a knife in his Achilles for good measure as soon as he sees the blood and destruction, fashion, and fame.
And man, he goes down like a ton of bricks.
As one would when getting a knife to the Achilles.
Oh, I did write here, it comes up, I wrote feet, because there's definitely a deliberate shot of feet. I did mistype it, so it's feet.
A lot of that in this movie, a lot of feet in this movie, Kristen.
Yes, indeed.
And we're just getting started.
Oh, yeah.
So she puts Buck's head in the door and asks, "Where's Bill?" and slams the door in his head, and his first response is, "Please stop hitting me."
He is not someone who knows where Bill is. He's just a normal bad person.
Because she notices he's got "fuck" written across his knuckles.
Bad decision for multiple reasons. Mainly because it results in his death.
She remembers Buck talking to her during her time in a coma, that his name's Buck, and he's here to fuck.
She does her Uma Thurman deep deadpan voice. For one of two, at least, very impactful times in this movie where she's just like, "Your name's Buck, right? And you're here to fuck, right?"
Slam, dead.
Yup, and he jerks for a while. Good acting.
So she grabs onto his sunglasses as well. He's got some pretty neat sunglasses that we don't see again.
It just occurred to me, because she looks out the door, that at first I never understood why she took the sunglasses and just thought it was a funny thing. It's probably very bright out in the hallway, and that's why she takes them.
Yes, it is. So again, yeah, very good touch. Good touch that he's wearing sunglasses as well, or that he has sunglasses, excuse me.
Yep, she takes his keychain, and it says "Pussy Wagon," and she bonks him on the head again and calls him a fucker.
So she heads out to the parking garage in a wheelchair. She somehow got her hands on a wheelchair and got into it, and I'm not going to get into how... We don't need to see that. That's fine.
Yep.
She gets to the Pussy Wagon trying to find out where it is, and sure enough, it is a bright yellow pickup truck that says Pussy Wagon on the back of it.
She is just looking for a Texas license plate and instead finds the Pussy Wagon.
So... yeah, tries to pulls herself into the back seat of the truck here. Muscles aren't doing so great. It takes her a good amount of time just to pull herself in, and then she closes the door. She gets as comfy as she can in this situation and just starts staring down at her feet and goes, "Wiggle your big toe."
And then we get a lot of shots of her feet.
Quentin Tarantino really getting up in there.
Yep, just point the camera as close to the feet as possible.
This affords the bride some opportunity to remember the Deadly Viper Assassination Squad, the ones who did this to her, and we see that very long, awkward shot of all of them looking down at her.
Yep.
And the camera starts to slowly move toward Lucy Liu, because Oren Ishii is the easiest to find, because why hide being the Queen of Tokyo's Underground when you're the Queen of Tokyo's Underground?
Why hide when you have such a beautiful face?
Oren's codename, Cottonmouth. Chapter 3, The Origin of Oren Ishii.
Anime.
Anime! We start off born on an American Army base in Tokyo. She is half Japanese, half Chinese American. She first knew death at the age of 9, Kristen, where she saw her parents killed by Yakuza boss Matsumoto.
Oh, it is one of my pet peeves that everyone in this movie says Yakuza.
Instead of Yakuza?
Yeah, instead of Yakuza.
And suddenly, yes, Kristen, we are in anime now. I said that as kind of Aeon Flux looking, but looking it up just now, both of us did. They did a lot of important things, such as Ghost in the Shell, and Psychopaths, and FLCL.
And you did not note the company is Production IG.
Yes, Production IG, excuse me. They're the ones who did it here, so... because it's really nice. I mean, it's kind of... I don't know if it's just like they were working within a budget, because it's not... Is it more stylized, or is it more just rough in general, do you think, Kristen?
I think the stylization is definitely a part of it, because some of the animation actually reminds me a lot of... it reminds me a lot of Paranoia Agent, the stylization. That is not one of the things that Production ID did, but...
Oh, yeah, okay.
I would call it a style.
I get what you're going for there, but yeah, we see it's child Oren is hiding under a bed here in a room where the Yakuza have a lot of... They got her parents in a bit of a troublesome spot. Her dad kicks a ton of ass, so cool job, Dad.
Yeah, good job, Army Dad.
But then he gets stabbed through the heart.
Oops.
Right in front of Oren.
Yup. And falls down in front of where she is hiding in the bed, so she also gets to see his eyes roll back in his head.
Yep, and then the boss tosses the mother on the bed, and thankfully it's just... she... Lucky her, she just gets stabbed to death.
Yeah. Doesn't look great for a minute there, but not that things turn out good.
Stabbed through the bed, sword goes right near Oren's face, And it's just one of those things where you can see, you look in the eyes of Oren Ishiz, it's just like, oh, fuck. And then
this lady's gonna grow up to be an assassin for sure.
Blood starts going through the mattress and dripping down onto her face.
Rain is blood. I'm not crying, it's just blood on my face.
Raining blood from a lacerated sky. The guy who stabbed her dad, I don't know if he's we don't see him again at all,
nope.
And he probably should have been the one who got the most revenged on, but that doesn't happen, because what he does for some reason is he shoots a bottle of booze and then kicks the put-out cigar from Boss Matsumoto to just start setting the house on fire. And
I enjoy that your response to this is a note that just says, "What a world." That's a little bit muted, but, it's an anime tragedy. What can we do?
At this point, Oren swore revenge, because how couldn't she swear revenge after that?
Yep, and quote-unquote lucky for her, Boss Matsumoto was a pedophile, so she got her revenge at age 11.
And we see her just sitting on his lap, or, and he's all laid back, and then he got a sword through his chest, and he's screaming, and...
She has a gun, so I'm not sure why she doesn't just pop him, but I guess the getting your chest ripped open by a sword or a dagger probably hurts more, so...
Kristen, she has to do her "Do I Look Familiar" speech to Boss Matsumoto.
That's true, you can't do that if you've already plugged someone through the head.
If they don't got no head no more.
Nope.
The voice of Oren here, Kristen, is provided by Ai Maeda, who would most likely be associated with the Japanese voice of Mimi from Digimon, as well as Sailor Pluto in Sailor Moon Crystal.
Interesting. Sailor Pluto is a little bit more mature sounding.
Yes, she is. But then again, this was 13 years ago?
Who knows?
Some thugs burst in, seeing her covered in blood, but she does not get hit. They start, shooting... she was using Boss Matsumoto as a shield, I guess, to slip under him, but they empty their clips into their dead boss, and then she shoots at them from under the bed. And Kristen, you get your favorite trope that you were talking about in Die Hard. Somebody gets shot in the leg and it fucking explodes.
Yeah, people getting shot in the legs.
At age 20, she was one of the top female assassins in the world, and Kristen...
Do you think there's a Wikipedia page for people getting shot in the legs in movies?
Oren is she's standing on top of a building now. We have seen she is age 20 now, and she's standing on top of a building here in a bright red bodysuit, which I don't think is good for assassinations.
I guess the idea with the bodysuit is bodysuits in general are easier to move in with the flexible fabric you got and everything. I don't know why she needs that for sniping. Also, I find it very impressive that she does her sniping standing up.
Yes! That was the other thing I wanted to say. She just straight up right on her shoulder, with one foot on the edge of the building that she's standing on top of, just one leg up.
Every time I watch this, I expect her to lay down, but nope, she's not. Doesn't need to do that.
Nope, she shoots this dude who's laughing in the back of a limo with Miss Panama and Miss something else, because I didn't read her banner that she has on.
Yep, some guy.
And we get a nice shot of the bullet going through his head, and then the Miss Panama and Miss Other Panama looking into the bullet hole from the head and then screaming.
Yep, anime.
So snap back to reality. Whoop, there goes gravity. Here we are, age 25.
I'm sorry, continue.
She took part in, at age 25, she took part in the massacre at the chapel. Kristen, I am as old as Oren is supposed to be at the beginning of this movie right now.
Joe, so what you're saying is you have a lot of catching up to do as far as becoming a really good assassin. Then again, I'm 3 years older than she was when she was one of the top female assassins in the world. And I'm 12 years older than she was when she killed her first person. Or got her first revenge, maybe not even killed her first person.
Both of us.
We're way behind.
A lot of work to do.
Shit, I'm never going to be a great assassin at this rate. Why did I go to art school instead of assassin school?
Oren took part in killing 9 people on that day, but she should have killed 10. So we join a toe wiggling already in progress, and we see her big toe gets wiggled, and the bride's just like, hard part's over.
Now I just need to go find a movie director to suck on them for me.
13 hours later, 13 hours of drinking alcohol off of a foot later.
Yup.
Muscle atrophy can get fucked, because she just gets right up and just walks, so her toes are doing fine, but, her calf, whatever, it doesn't matter.
It's a movie.
It's a movie. She gets in the front seat and heads off one way to Okinawa, Japan from El Paso. Kristen, being someone who books travel, I looked into this. El Paso to Okinawa is a 22-hour flight. That would be, on average, $1.2 grand, at least in 2016 dollars.
Man, I'm never going to get to Japan.
With 2 stops in both Houston and Tokyo, more than likely.
That seems crazy. I mean, like, the stop in Tokyo.
Well, Tokyo's the major airport. You're not gonna find a direct flight from Houston to Okinawa, Kristen.
I guess so. I just keep thinking of how tiny Japan is.
Chapter 4, The Man from Okinawa.
And we get the bride wearing a cool tourist shirt coming into a sushi restaurant.
The bride feigns being a tourist in this part, yes, where she heads into a sushi shop with, yes, a shirt that just says Okinawa, Japan on it, with Japanese writing.
Yup, the sushi chef is like, hey, how's it going?
I'm Sonny Chiba.
I'm Sonny Chiba. She asks if she can sit at the bar, I guess. He says, sure. And she says, domo.
You know, it's like, oh, you speak English. Are you English? Oh, close American. Oh, but you said domo there. Hey, oh, can you speak Japanese?
Sonny Chiba is adorable.
And the bride feigns ignorance, and she says that she hasn't learned much. Just some stuff as she was here the last day or so.
Mm-hmm. Man, she didn't prepare at all for this fake tourist trip.
He tells his assistant to get the customer some tea, but he's watching his soap operas. He turns his attention back towards the bride and he's like, well, okay, so you learned domo. What else did you learn today? Oh, I got arigato. I already said domo. Konnichiwa.
And Sonny Chiba's like, no. Konnichiwa.
Sonny Chiba, I guess maybe he has some good intuition here, because he's just like, aha, it's very good. You have a Japanese tongue. You speak Japanese the way we speak Japanese.
You say arigato like we say arigato. It's adorable.
And out comes Kenji Oba. He is the assistant here. He is, Kristen, famous for several roles in tokusatsu series My Bread and Butter. He was Battle Kenya in Battle Fever J. He was Denji Blue in Denji Sentai Denji Man, and he was the lead of the first Metal Hero series, Space Sheriff Gavan.
You could be making all of that up and I wouldn't know.
He's, I believe, probably most famous for Gavan, considering, usually the first one, they reference it a lot. Well, even though Metal Hero series stopped in the later 90s because I don't know if they weren't lucrative anymore. It doesn't matter. Gavan got a resurgence in the past 5 years or so.
Cool.
He's been showing up a lot.
Nice.
There's even a movie coming out where it's the Space Police Sentai and Gavan in a movie together, and the Space Police Sentai was in 2004, so it's a lot of old actors returning.
Nice. All these famous Japanese people in this movie where nobody will know who they are. That's why we give them their due.
Honestly, considering, I recently watched Kill Bill maybe 2 years ago, and it took me, I didn't know that it was Kenji Oba at the time, so even then, someone deeply rooted in tokusatsu like myself was just like, oh yeah, shit.
That's what this podcast is for. We keep learning new stuff.
So the bride wants some warm sake, and Kenji Oba's like, it's the middle of the day.
And Sonny Chiba is like, I don't give a shit. Morning, afternoon, evening, get her the sake.
Get her the goddamn sake. And then it starts the argument where I've been getting the sake in this goddamn place for 30 years, and you've been the chef, you've been making the sushi, I've been getting the sake. If this were the military, I would be a general by now.
And Sonny Chiba says, okay, then if you were a general, I would be the emperor, and you would still be getting the sake.
And for some reason, Kenji Oba looks at the bride and goes, I'm not bald, I shave my head, do you understand?
Why not?
And then I believe he gets a knife thrown at him for that.
My limited exposure to Japanese media has led me to believe that Japanese men can be very insecure about people thinking they are bald.
The chef asks the bride why she came to Japan. It's to see a man. Not a friend, someone she's never met before, as a matter of fact.
She is looking for Hattori Hanzo.
So Sonny Chiba's like chopping fish, he's making sushi, and then he just stops after that name, and there's like a glass shattering in the background, and I'm wondering if that was...
I guess the assistant also heard her whisper.
And then the chef asks in Japanese what the bride needs a Hattori Hanzo sword for, and she just responds, I need Japanese steel. In much more... I wrote in perfect Japanese first, and then I wrote in adept Japanese.
Yeah, Uma Thurman's Japanese is not excellent. She certainly does some lines better than others, so, props.
And to be fair, Lucy Liu's Japanese isn't amazing either.
I didn't notice. She sells it a little bit more as someone who...
She does, yes. She puts a bit of an affect on it to make it sound better. Uh-huh. Where Uma Thurman is just like, I'm going to speak in my normal voice, but I'm saying Japanese syllables.
Konnichiwa.
She has vermin to kill. And it must be big rats if she needs a Hanzo sword.
Huge. Did they just willy-nilly switch in between Japanese and English this whole movie?
The bride is shown the floor above the shop with a wall lined with swords here. This is a kind of a slow sequence where she kind of looks over the swords, like, does a little, like, oh, I should touch this one. Oh, no. Ooh, it's too powerful. I can't.
Well, she does go to touch it and then turns and goes like, ooh, wait, am I allowed to touch it? Is that okay? And he says, yeah, totally.
He appears at 50% opacity in the bottom half of the screen as well.
Nice.
So she picks up one of the swords, draws the blade. It is, Kristen, folded 1,000 times to perfection, Japanese steel. Funny, you like samurai swords. I like baseball. And he throws a baseball at the bride.
I've heard a rumor that the stunt woman for Uma Thurman actually can cut a baseball in half with a sword.
Oh god, I can't remember her name. She was in Death Proof, and she was in Django, and she was in The Hateful Eight. It's, Zoe Bell is the stunt woman for the bride, who had, yes, a major role in, maybe she wasn't in Django, I don't remember.
No, I remember. The thing with Vernita, her family is named Bell because of Zoe Bell.
Oh, nice. Yeah, Quentin Tarantino really likes himself some Zoe Bell, it seems.
Yeah, she seems like she's a real badass lady.
He throws the baseball at the bride, which she promptly cuts in half, and Hanzo's just like, so I wanted to show you these swords, but not making them anymore, so fuck off.
I keep these for sentimental and aesthetic value, which I think is a great reason to keep anything. Also, could be a bad hoarding excuse.
As proud as he is of his work, he is retired. And the bride's just like, alright, well, give me one then.
They're not for sale.
I didn't say sell me one, I said give me one.
And Hanzo was like, why should I help you? I don't see a reason.
And the bride's like, well, I got a former student that I need to take care of, and considering the nature of the student, I think, pretty big favor you owe me here. And then Sonny Chiba walks over to a fogged up window, and in the condensation writes, Bill.
He dots the I last, which always fucks me up. Just seems wrong.
It will take 1 month to make the sword. The bride can stay here, and he suggests she spends it training.
You look like you've been in a coma for 4 years.
The bride then wipes away Bill's name from the window, and we get 1 month later.
And we get a cool ceremony, including the sake getting assistant.
He's here as well. He's probably a protege, I would assume, or something.
Oh yeah. They're just, they're buddy protege.
Buddy cop movie. Samurai buddy cops.
Oh my god, I would watch that.
Apparently, Kristen, the sword that is made here that Hanzo presents the bride with was the same sword that Butch used in Pulp Fiction.
I don't remember Butch having a sword in Pulp Fiction.
Don't you remember? He goes to the pawn shop to save Marcellus Wallace, and I think just to go back and save Marcellus Wallace at that point, because they both get captured, and he grabs the samurai sword from the top of the pawn shop and then goes and kills the gimp and the other dude with it.
I keep forgetting things about Pulp Fiction, like the watching the ass thing, and then finding out that Marcellus Wallace is getting raped through the whole movie.
Not the whole movie. God,
Pulp Fiction's a weird fucking movie.
Yes, it is. It very much is.
Anyway.
Hanzo laments that he broke his 28-year promise to God that he would never again make a weapon like this. But without ego, he can say that this is his finest sword.
He says, on your journey, should you encounter God, God will be cut.
Yellow-haired warrior, go! Chapter 5, Showdown at the House of Blue Leaves. And I looked down, I was like, there's like 40 minutes in this movie still. How long is this action sequence going to be? Long.
I wonder how fast we'll go through it.
1 year after the massacre, O-Ren began to take hold of the Yakuza in what is described as an almost Shakespearean power struggle, because Kristen, people don't like the fact that O-Ren not full-blood Japanese in the Yakuza.
Yeah, we don't really have time to explain xenophobia.
we touched on it a bit in Die Hard.
Yeah, so let's not get too crazy.
Japan, they got their ways, they're really set in their ways. Don't try to force them.
Yeah, hopefully things are getting more progressive everywhere in the world.
We are also introduced to the Crazy 88 as well as O-Ren's right-hand people, Sophie Fatale, lawyer, other protege of Bill. She speaks in both Japanese and French in this movie.
Yep, and Johnny Moe, who is the leader of the Crazy 88, who we don't really know anything else about or is not very important the rest of the movie.
Nope, apparently Johnny Moe was supposed to be Michael Madsen, but then I don't know if Quentin Tarantino was like, oh, he should probably be Bud, or if Bud was written to be Michael Madsen afterward, I don't know.
I don't know. It's probably for the best that Johnny Moe was not Michael Madsen.
And we got the personal bodyguard of O-Ren, Gogo Yubari, 17 years of age.
Yup, she is played by Chiaki Kuriyama, who in the West, she is most known for this role in Kill Bill, and she was also in the movie Battle Royale. She was also Takako Chigusa, who is one of the cooler characters that unfortunately dies.
Oh, I haven't seen it, but thanks. Spoilers, Kristen.
Joe, it's Battle Royale. It's like saying people die in the Hunger Games. Basically, everyone dies.
We get a cut seeing how fucking crazy Gogo is as she is drinking heavily directly from a bottle. And I want to say, I say presumably on a date, which I don't think is actually the case, because it's just some salary man is next to her, I think, and it's just like, hey, you like Ferraris?
And she calls them Italian trash, which is my nickname.
And then she asks the dude if he wants to get it on with her, and then she stabs him in the dick.
Yeah, he says yes, and then she disembowels him.
Like, well, gonna be a little hard to do that.
It cuts back to Gogo's face, and she smiles as if she is remembering this flashback.
The bride assures us that there is a reason O-Ren is the head of the Yakuza, despite her heritage, and her blood came up only once during a council meeting. Just once.
So we get a cool static shot of, like, her and her posse for a couple of seconds before this, like, celebratory meeting actually starts, and she starts, like, doing the gracious, yes, I am the leader of the Yakuza now, sort of face.
And there's some negative Nancy here, Boss Tanaka, who, like, slams his fist against his, like, sushi plate or something. I don't know what he had in front of him, but he smashes some kind of thing.
Yeah, whatever they were eating, he smashes his plate and then begins to wipe his hand, either to get the food or blood off, if this is anything like Django Unchained.
And he does not like the changing of the guard here. The other, they all start kind of arguing with each other, and the tipping point is when he refers to Lucy Liu's heritage, yes, as half Japanese American, and Lucy Liu very quickly jumps up onto the table.
Well, okay, he calls her a half-breed bitch.
Okay. Yeah, so justified in that Lucy Liu jumps up on the table, runs over to him, and fucking cuts off his head.
I'm in charge! His head does a boomerang. And flies back onto the table, and we get one of my favorite scenes in the movie.
It's pretty good. To show how serious O-Ren is here, she is going to speak in English in front of this Japanese council. No subject will be taboo, except, of course, one thing, don't bring it up. Just one thing, don't bring up the fact of my heritage. Just don't do that, because if you do...
As a negative.
Yeah.
And she says, if you do, I collect your fucking head.
And then she's just like, all right. Any objections? Because if you got them, now's the fucking time!
I wrote down in my notes, I wish Lucy Liu did more angry roles like this, because I love watching her yell. She's like artwork.
We see the bride. She gets a ticket to Tokyo now, and O-Ren with her motorcade is heading somewhere. As the bride is going through the airport, there's an ad for Red Apple cigarettes, which, hey, Quentin Tarantino, Red Apple cigarettes. That's a thing that Quentin Tarantino does, if you don't know.
I did know.
Not you, the audience.
The audience isn't here right now. Don't condescend to me!
The bride has now changed into her Game of Death outfit, the yellow with the black stripe, made famous by Bruce Lee in the I say unfinished movie. He died while it was being filmed, and then it was finished, and that was the first step of, Kristen, what was referred to as Bruceploitation, I believe.
Oh, jeez.
Which included, it might have been Game of Death, it might have been some other movie, which actually included footage of Bruce Lee's funeral in it.
That's fucked up.
It's terrible, Kristen. Bruce Lee really got the shit end of the stick after he died, including dying.
He is honored after death by Chie from Persona.
It's Game of Death was the movie he was filming there, and that was the yellow tracksuit was the thing that he was wearing there. He fights Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in Game of Death.
Nice.
It's pretty cool. She also has a yellow motorcycle that she has now. Or no, what do you refer to that thing as, Kristen? It's not necessarily a motorcycle, or is it?
I wish you could see the face that I'm making. Like, I would know the answer to this.
Crotch racket? I don't know. Like, what's the proper name of that? Just a bike?
Did you have to say crotch rocket like that?
I don't know, Kristen.
Well, she does have a motorcycle jacket on that looks exactly like her track jacket.
Yes, which is, again, very nice. And she is following Sophie Fatale here to the point where she stops at a red light and looks in on Sophie talking on her cell phone, and she remembers from getting beat up that Sophie's cell phone ringtone was for Auld Lang Syne.
For 4 years!
She never changed her ringtone in 4 years.
I guess she just loves For Auld Lang Syne.
So, Kristen, here is where Battle Without Honor Humanity is playing, and O-Ren and company are walking out in slow motion, and this, Kristen, this feels like a joke. Because of the fact that this song has been used in mostly, like, I looked up usage in media of this song, and it's like the initial Battle Without Honor Humanity movie or whatever, then Kill Bill, then Transformers, then Shrek, then, like, it's all comedy movies after this, after Transformers, I guess.
So people are just making fun of Kill Bill?
That's what it seems. It's like what happened when I watched Terminator 2 for the first time, which was a few years ago. But at the beginning, Arnold Schwarzenegger goes into a biker bar, he's naked, and he needs to get clothes from a biker. So he gets clothes from a biker after kicking their asses naked, and
nice.
And Bad to the Bone starts playing, and you think, like, in the early 90s it was like, oh, badass, but because of, like, parody and that song being used for comedic purposes, I'm like, this is a joke. James Cameron's telling me a joke right now.
Now I'm sad.
Because that's exactly what this scene... Because it's like, it's people walking in slow motion, it should be cool, but it feels like a joke.
I still think it's cool. Maybe it's because I'm in love with Lucy Liu.
They're led to a special room here at the House of Blue Leaves. Initially, I thought that the entire Crazy 88 was with them, and I was like, where are they going to get a room to fit 88 people?
Nope.
But yeah, Charlie Brown and his wife, who I believe just own the House of Blue Leaves here, guide them, and are all doing, like, oh, this way, please, this way, and they're bowing with, like, every single word that they say, trying to be...
as respectful
as possible to the Yakuza.
The 5, 6, 7, 8s are here, and they are not wearing shoes.
Nope, they are not either. So, there we go. We're, like 8 for 5 on... in terms of people not wearing shoes in this movie.
Yep, just keep going.
We pan over to the bride. She is at the bar, and she heads upstairs to kind of hang out outside of where Oren and the 88 are, the few Crazy 88 that she brought with her.
Yeah, they get, like, their own room up at the top of the restaurant.
And Lucy Liu senses this, or Oren, I should say, senses something, and throws, like, a kunai, or, like, a dart or something out, like, through the paper door there, and it, hits the wood post, and she's just like, Go, please, go take care of this.
She couldn't just have told Go with her eyes, hey, go look, she had to throw a thing and be really cool.
The bride is hanging up on the ceiling when Go comes out here, and,
I wish we got to see her jump up there.
It would have been a wire effect, of course. She would have just, like, straight up standing...
Boing!
Go heads back inside, because it's just like, alright, I think we're all good here. And then the 5, 6, 7, 8 start playing the song from the Vonage commercial.
Yeah, I wrote down the song makes me want to look into a different telephone company that better suits my needs.
Vonage, did we talk about this before, where Vonage was like internet phone?
I don't remember at all. I just remember the commercials and them being like bright yellow?
I think they were orange, yeah.
Something like that, yeah. Well, this song is ruined forever anyway.
Yep. So the bride heads down over to the restroom so she could take off her motorcycle jacket. Sophie heads down from the room to the restroom as well. And of course... coincidence of coincidences, the bride hears bang, 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 bang.
This is why you always take a friend with you when you go to the bathroom, because otherwise you get your arm chopped off.
This causes the bride to go all red-visored, and the whip starts again. And we see the owners of the House of Blue Leaves catering to the increasingly unreasonable demands of the Crazy 88, like one asking for a pizza. 4 cheese pizzas, I believe he says.
Nope, pepperoni pizzas.
Oh, excuse me, 4 pepperoni pizzas.
And Charlie Brown's like, we literally don't sell that.
And this is where, yes, the one Crazy 88 guy is like, you remind me of... He's called Charlie Brown. Charlie Brown is a nickname, which, Kristen, I'm wondering if... Do Japanese people know what Peanuts is?
Probably. I mean, whenever I think of Western media in general, like, basically everything that comes out of America gets translated.
Ends up in Japan somehow?
Everywhere, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, we know what Hello Kitty is.
That's true. I mean, I don't know if Peanuts is popular enough. That's the thing. It's weird. But
Well, I guess it would depend on the time period, maybe, because Peanuts was, like, the biggest fucking thing for a while.
Well, yeah. But, yeah, he's wearing a yellow getup with a, like, squiggly line around the belt. Mm-hmm. So that is why he is referred to as... And he's bald, so that is why he is referred to as Charlie Brown.
He really does look like Charlie Brown. One of the Crazy 88 people, a woman, says, "Give me a kiss, Charlie Brown."
But the party is broken up because we get already she!
Yeah, the bride can yell as loud as pizzazz, I guess.
Voice can carry. Got that devil in her.
Yup. You and I have unfinished business. In Japanese.
Oren walks out to see Sophie in the clutches of the bride, and Oren says the bride's name, but it's bleeped.
Yep.
And then she just slices off Sophie's arm right there.
And boy, Sophie screams a lot.
People are just like, oh shit, and they start running out of there.
That's what I would do too.
Sophie's screaming the entire time as well as this is happening, and there's just kind of like an awkward silence as she's just kind of like, oh god!
Oren does tell Charlie Brown to beat it. But the restaurant owner, the wife, stays.
Yes, and the first Crazy 88 comes down here. Kristen, I was like, I'm going to do a running count to see if there's actually 88 of them. Not going to happen. Nope.
I tried that too. I also got to 6 and then stopped.
I got the first 6. And then when all of them come in and the bride just starts slashing and people start falling down, I'm like, I'm not going to be able to follow this.
The reason I stopped is because I am positive there is a count somewhere on the internet. And the other thing is they blatantly say in Volume 2 that there was not 88 of them.
Oh, well, there we go. All right.
Bill says they just called themselves the Crazy 88 because it sounded cool.
She cuts right through the sword of the first Crazy 88 and then throws him into the pond.
I did write ouchie when she cut off Sophie's arm.
And so began the bride's killing spree. Slice. Ouchie.
We are both ventriloquists, but now we're upside down.
I swing a bit more.
I swing a bit less.
But we both swing. That's it.
We're done now.
So yeah, the first Crazy 88 gets his sword chopped, and then she just throws him right into the pond after stabbing him. So that's one.
Well, she lifts him up on her sword.
Oh, yes.
And that was, I forgot that it gets that silly that fast. I was like, okay, so we're doing this already, huh?
3 more come down, and she does the thing where they all, stand still after she slices all of them, and then hits her sword. Is that just like a samurai movie thing, Kristen?
I guess so, yeah. Her sword, the steel of her sword is ringing, and when she stops it, they all fall over.
Okay. 2 more come down, dead. We're at 6, and here's where in my notes I said, I don't think I'm going to be able to keep a running count.
Nope.
The bride asks Oren if she has any more subordinates to kill, and Gogo's walking down the stairs like, hi!
Remember me? I got my flail.
The bride tells Gogo to walk away, because you're only 17, and, it's not worth it. And Gogo's just like, you call that begging? Huh? Try begging a bit better than that.
Uh-huh. So, yeah, she got the ball and the chain. Again, a flail? I don't know.
I don't know.
It's a little bit fancier than that.
I don't know what the proper name of it is. I have written in my notes, I don't know what the proper name would be of it. It's got, fan blades on it eventually.
Yeah, got a saw blade inside of it. There's a button. That's not how that works. Chains can't communicate a function into the thing at the end of it, but it's a movie.
The bride gets nicked a few times, as well as having it hit directly into her goddamn chest. You would think if Gogo was so good with his weapon, that would have killed the bride.
Ouchie. Again.
The chain ends up getting wrapped around the sword, and Gogo pulls the blade away. And to the point where the bride only has, the leg of a table to defend herself here.
Yeah, it doesn't go great. She even tries to block the ball with a table at some point. It goes straight through it.
Straight through it, yep. She does at least... I guess the leg of the table is a little more powerful, because when Gogo kicks it at her again, the bride hits it like a baseball, which bounces off the pole behind her and hits Gogo in the back of the head.
Yep, she falls over, and it makes a bowling ball noise.
She crashes through a table. Yes, it makes
Strike!
It makes a strike noise. This is where, yes, Gogo presses the thing on it, which makes the blades fan out, which, again, doesn't work because of the chain.
Nope.
Unless there's wire going through the chain.
It's a conductive chain. It's all electronics. Powered by AA batteries.
She gets the chain wrapped around the bride's neck, which, getting some really pained-looking, can't-breathe faces from Uma Thurman at this point.
Yep, and her neck cracks a little bit, which is not a noise a neck should make.
Nope, but the bride grabs a piece of a 2x4 with a nail in it, and stabs it right through Gogo's foot, which, because of her white shoes and white socks, the blood look really nice coming out of there like that, and then just brains her in the side of the head with it.
Nope, and she falls over, and the piece of wood remains kind of hanging out at a weird angle, so when she falls over, it wiggles a little bit, and I'm like, that is such nice prop work.
And she got blood coming down her eyes.
Yep, there goes that famous actress.
The bride gets her sword back. Oren unsheathes her tanto, but the sound of motorcycles fills the air. The rest of the Crazy 88 are arriving, and Oren's like, you didn't think it was going to be that easy, did you?
For a second there, I kinda did.
Silly rabbit. Tricks are for kids. I don't know how we were going to do that one, so tricks are for kids.
Tricks are for kids. I really like all the charms on the sheath of Oren's tanto. It's very, cell phone charmy.
She's got a Winnie the Pooh hanging from there.
Nice.
Guys, she's got Pooh-san.
Pooh-san!
So Johnny Mo is here, along with the rest of the Crazy 82 or 81 of Go-Go counts, because I'm not certain.
And it is not that many people.
Again, yeah,
so it doesn't matter.
Not crazy, not 88. The bride is surrounded. They start attacking, and here's where I was just like, I can't keep count of this. The movie goes black and white as soon as she Daryl Hannah's one of the Crazy 88 and takes out their eye.
Yup, you're going to establish that the bride is capable of doing that because she does it again later.
And we get Kristen, blood and destruction, fashion and fame. Here's something that we could probably just kind of go through here.
It's a long sword fight. You've probably seen it.
This was done to avoid a higher rating, everything going into black and white.
Yeah,
as well,
I always thought that was for the TV cut, but nope, it was just that a lot of people were dying, and it turns out even mature movies are like, okay, can you, like, stop with all the killing? Not even the killing, just with the blood.
Kristen, we get the first of 2 Wilhelm screams here
Nice.
as the bride is killing the people. Did you notice those?
I don't always, like, straight up notice them, but when I hear them, I'm like, there it is.
I was going to say, have you been trained to hear the Wilhelm scream yet? Cause
Oh yeah, definitely. Keep in mind, I've seen the scene many, many times, and it's an action scene, so what was I doing while this was going on?
You kind of tune out.
Yeah,
probably.
I was doing something else. Not playing Pokemon this time.
The bride heads to the upper level.
Me and my Poplio named Gatorade are doing great, by the way.
The bride heads to the upper level, and the remaining dudes follow. She, like, jumps on a sword up to the second floor here. During this scene, the music changes, like, 4 times. From a theme from a Western, to, I'm pretty sure there's a theme to some, probably samurai movie, to a song by German krautrock band New.
I can't even begin to think about how long it took to film all of this.
The bride gets some double sword action going on, and she does like a super swing on the floor. There's another Wilhelm scream as a dude falls down the stairs.
Me too.
The air is filled with the sounds of dudes groaning and missing limbs from loss of blood, because
There's a massacre going on.
there's a bit of a massacre. The Charlie Brown's wife turns off the lights, which brings the color back to the movie, but only just in time for the bride to do the cool thing here where she's silhouetted against the blue background.
Yup, there's a blue and black silhouette fight.
She goes to kill the last Crazy 88. When the lights are turned back on, she realizes it's just a kid. Poor kid. I don't know if we mentioned the Crazy 88 are all wearing like business suits and Kato masks, so they got a nice uniform going
They
on.
look pretty cool.
When the lights come back on, this dude is not wearing the Kato mask anymore.
It's like a fucking 17-year-old.
So she cuts down his sword, like down to the hilt a few times, and then just bends him over her knee. This is what you get for fucking around with Yakuza.
And she spanks him with her sword, which probably slices parts of his ass off.
Go home to your mother.
So Johnny Moe is still there, and this fight happens.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, Johnny Moe gets like knocked out by a piece of wood hitting him in the face, and I was like, I'm pretty sure he's probably gonna come back, and he does, because yeah. What does Johnny Moe use? Does he have like a Tonto? Is that his thing?
I don't remember.
But yeah, he and the bride fight on a railing, and his leg gets cut at the knee, and he falls into the pool that is full of blood.
Ouchie. Again.
The bride surveys the damage that she did, and she gives her speech here. To those left alive, take your lives with you when you leave, but leave your limbs. They belong to me now.
But not Sophie. She, like, starts to crawl away and then looks back like, shit.
Like, no, you stay here, Sophie.
I'm gonna make you eat your arm, Sophie.
As the bride goes out to confront Oren, we see Charlie Brown's wife is, like, crying and shouting. She's like, oh, God, what the hell?
Fucking restaurant!
The bride now goes to confront Oren out in the middle of the Japanese gardens that we did not get to see at Richard Xanthos' estate.
Yeah, for some reason, they didn't put Oda Nobunaga in the treasure hunt.
Oren comments on how impressive the bride's sword is, and she's like, oh, well, it's a Hattori Hanzo sword.
Oren calls her a liar.
She never got to have a Hattori Hanzo. I thought there was a thing here where Oren tried to, like, shake down Hattori Hanzo for a sword, but she never got one. Am I wrong in remembering that?
I think you're making that up.
I might be oh, okay, headcanon. Oren's mostly pissed because she never got to have Hattori Hanzo's sword.
Well, I guess no one but Bill and the bride and Bud, right?
I think Bud has one too, yeah. And Elle, maybe?
No, Elle steals the bride's.
Oh, okay. Maybe that's what I'm remembering is Elle wanted one and shook down Hattori Hanzo for it.
Yes, Elle definitely wanted one but never got one.
Okay, there we go. So Oren hopes that the bride saved her energy at least. She might not last 5 minutes. Swords don't get tired. People do.
Yup. So Oren takes off her shoes.
Still got the socks on, though.
Yeah, still got the socks on, though. So we tricked you this time, Quentin Tarantino.
It's like, is there any traditional Japanese garb that doesn't have shoes? Can we do that?
Can we get her some socks but then cut the toes off so we can just see her toes? It's like, it's snowing. No, we can't do that. Okay.
So Oren bows before drawing her blade, and Oren and the bride fight. I thought this fight was a lot shorter than it actually was, Kristen.
No, it's about 5 minutes long.
In my mind, it was They draw blades, and the bride almost immediately fucking scalps O-Ren.
Nope. So first of all, Joe.
Yes.
I have an observation.
Please.
It is probably really fucking hard to fight in a kimono. Let me explain the silhouette of a kimono to you.
Go ahead.
So the idea is that when you're wearing a kimono, you should kind of look rectangular, like the straight lines are part of the the look, the aesthetic.
Right.
So when a lot of women wear a kimono in order to get that shape going, because obviously bodies are not really shaped that way, they have to, like right where the obi is, put like towels around themselves to pad themselves out. So it's restrictive is what I'm saying.
So maybe, the bride just fought a shitload of people, but O-Ren's wearing a thing that isn't exactly conducive to fighting.
Yeah, probably perfectly good for cutting people's heads off, so that's one slash. I'm saying that if O-Ren were wearing a tracksuit, maybe this would have gone differently.
The bride gets slashed across the back and falls. Even then, O-Ren puts up quite a good fight here. I mean, again, maybe we're not supposed to be looking at it in terms of that Quentin Tarantino just probably wanted her... fuck it, doesn't matter.
Oh yeah, I think we're definitely reading too much into it because it's still a good fight.
O-Ren chides the bride, being silly blonde girl, fight with samurai swords.
Silly Caucasian girl.
Silly Caucasian girl, excuse me. And she at least gets to die like a samurai. The bride basically says, bring it on, and then cuts O-Ren's leg.
So O-Ren apologizes for disrespecting her. The bride accepts the apology and says, Ikuyo.
And then O-Ren gets fucking scalped.
Yup. Her hair flies right out, so her hair was in an updo. Let me say that first.
And now it's not, yeah.
And God, she got a lot of hair. I'm saying it's impossible, but it's a movie, so...
And it's dramatic. And her last words, that really was a Hattori Hanzo sword. And then we see her gross scalped skull.
Yup. And, not even scalped. It's like she got a good segment of her actual head just shaved right off.
So she falls down, and that's the end of it. And the bride has herself a little sit down, because...
She's tired. Baby tired.
She's... Oh, is baby tired? Oh, did baby have to kill, 90 people? Oh, boo-hoo.
Boo-hoo, so tired.
O-Ren's name gets crossed off the list. We cut to a famous Quentin Tarantino trunk shot of the bride closing it on Sophie, and then opens it back up and rolls her down a hill in front of the hospital.
And Sophie is in rehab, I suppose, for all of the things she is now missing. And Bill is there, and she is explaining to Bill what happened.
Yep, the bride kept Sophie alive for 2 reasons. First, information. Sophie's like, I ain't gonna tell you anything.
Except she says it in French. Hon, hon, hon.
And the bride is just like, well, I'm still gonna ask, and anytime you don't give me an answer, cut something off.
And here is the other deep voice Uma Thurman thing. And I promise you, it will be things you will miss.
So Sophie has to give away the information on the deadly vipers here, where to find them, where she can kill them. And the second reason is so Sophie can tell Bill, tell your friends what you saw here tonight. Who are you? A Batman.
Great. More Batman jokes.
The bride wants everyone to know that shitstorms are coming.
And we cut to a plane, and the bride starts writing her kill list, which is not a thing you should do in public, but I guess the world was a different place then.
Is it technically, I mean, it could just be a list. She doesn't say, these are the people I'm going to kill on top of the list, right?
I'm pretty sure the top of the list says kill list 5.
Well, there we go. Revenge is never a straight line. It's a forest. It's easy to lose your way. We have Hattori Hanzo, again, sort of talking over the ending here, and we see, I guess, are these like little snippets into the next part of the movie, because we see as she's writing down the names, as she writes down Bud, it's a cut to him going like, she deserves her revenge and we deserve to die.
Yep, that's in the next one.
And with Elle going, the bride needs to suffer to her last breath.
It's also in the next one.
And then as she writes Bill's name here, we get the, I say sequel hook, but it's not really that. It's
not totally.
A Bill asking Sophie if the bride knows her daughter is still alive.
To be continued. I was trying to decide between a dramatic to be continued or another sound effect, but I feel like I cashed in my sound effect cache for...
Ba-ba-da-da-da.
Yeah!
That was Kill Bill Volume 1. Kristen, you said this is one of your favorite movies. What do you think of Kill Bill Volume 1?
Still one of my favorite movies. Again, I have come to the conclusion that as much as I'm like, indifferent to action movies, and how occasionally it's like, oh yeah, this person is doing this like badass thing and then saying a one-liner, wow, that's a little bit cringeworthy, which is why I think I liked Die Hard and Big Trouble in Little China so much, because it's more like fuck the whole way, which is way more realistic. But we don't really have a lot of movies where it's like, and now the woman is on the revenge quest, and it turns out she's really cool. Again, not to talk about it too much, but it's part of why I like playing Mass Effect so much, because there's very little difference between the, gender options for Shepard.
Mm-hmm.
So, occasionally I get called a bitch, which I assume they don't do to male Shepard.
Probably call him a bastard.
Maybe, who knows? I like to imagine that they call both of them a bitch. But it's like, swipe left for a renegade action, kick a man through a window and say, careful on the way down. Or whatever the fuck happened. Something similar to that. And I just feel very cool when I do things like that. Because it's like, yay, I get to be an action hero too. I'm saying I want to be a badass and shoot people in the legs, Joe.
You're saying you want to be Lucy Liu.
God, if only.
So now's the point in the evening where I will list off all of the fun contact things where you can reach us. You can follow us on the Twitter machine at cwtapod. You can follow me at Octopus. That's AWKTAPUS.
You can follow me at FunnyGirlTM, like trademark. I'm selling cosplay wigs on Twitter right now.
Nice. You can find us on the iTunes, on the SoundCloud, on the Stitcher Radio. Leave a rating, give a review, do whatever you feel like. You can also drop us a line, cwtapod@gmail.com, where you can tell us how much of a Hattori Hanzo sword your sword is, as well as if your name is Buck and you like to party.
Don't do that.
It's Kristen, partying is completely innocent.
That's true. We're talking about the censored version. If you like to fuck, stop listening to our podcast.
Abstinent people only, please.
More so, don't rape comatose bodies.
Next week, Kristen, we're doing a sequel. It is not this sequel. Even then, as you are so kind to point out, Kill Bill Volume 2 is not necessarily a sequel.
Thanks for cutting me off, because I was about to have that argument with you again.
That's because I know that you're correct, and I'm not going to have that argument, because it's not an argument, because you're right.
Yeah, we're going to do a sequel to a movie we've already done, so do the math.
I wonder, does it happen to star Kristen Michelle Pfeiffer?
I don't know, Joe. Does it?
Next week.
We're going back to school. That's one of the songs from Grease 2.
Grease 2 next week. Can't We Talk About Podcast? My name is Joe.
I am Kristen.
And join us when we will go back to school.
Checks in the mail.